Tired of paying crazy prices for good beer? Is $3 too much to pay for a quality beer? Have you ever tasted a beer and thought that you could improve on it? It's much easier than you think, and I'll be willing to bet you have enough money in your pocket right now to go out and start brewing your own beer at home. Well, how do you brew at home? Well, it's very simple. These two guys, with my vocal assistants, will show you how.
Hey, welcome to another thrilling edition of How Do I, the show that
first.
teaches you stuff. I'm your host, Colin McTiernan. Today we'll teach you how to brew your own beer at home. Without any further delay, let's begin the learning process. The first step is building a fermenter.
First thing is first. You are going to need to create a fermenter. It's very simple and can be made with very few dollars in hand. First, you want to get a 5-gallon bucket and the lid to match. You will also need that plastic tubing, the glue gun, and glue sticks. Trace the tube on top of the lid, just the end, so that you know how wide the tube is. Once you have traced that hole, cut it out with your drill. Even if the tube does not fit snugly into the hole, glue up the rest of the remaining space. Remember, this has to be airtight, so the more glue you use, the more likely a better seal you will have. Once you have filled the area on top with glue, flip the lid over and repeat the same process to the other side. Remember, airtight is key.
Your fermenter is complete. It might not look too pretty, but it'll definitely get the job done. Now you may move on to step number 2.
You will soon begin to start mixing the ingredients, so you need to put water into the bucket. 2 liters is needed here. I suggest using filtered water and not always tap water, because if your tap water tastes funky, your beer is going to taste funky. You will need to heat up your malt extract. Why? Because it is a very thick consistency, much thicker than molasses and syrup. So, put your extract into a pot, fill this pot with water halfway, and boil. After another 20 minutes, the mixture should become nice and thin.
Now that all your liquids are boiling, you're good to go for step number 3. This step is for all you beer drinkers who love to try and guess mystery flavors.
Now we will begin to mix the ingredients. You will begin with 5 to 6 cups of sugar. The sugar is key because the more sugar you add, the higher alcohol content you will have in your brew. Some use corn sugar, you can also use powdered sugar. Next, you mix in your wort. This was the stuff that was on the stove boiling. Next, you want to add your hops to counterbalance the sweet sugar and the sweet barley. All great brewers have a secret ingredient. Usually, it's a secret, but these two have decided to share their secret.
Fresh kitten.
Once you're done adding all the ingredients, including the secret ingredient, stir vigorously.
Right. Moving right along. For those of you keeping track, we are now on step number 4.
Now you want to add your yeast. But before you can do that, you need to let the water cool down. You want to bring it down to about 70 to 75 degrees. If it's too hot, the yeast will die, and it can't perform its job, which is to eat the sugar, ferment, and fall to the bottom of the bucket as sediment. Over the next 7 to 10 days, you will watch bubbling come out of your air release. This is the yeast in action. Once you've done that, stir the water up, ingredients and all. Now that all the ingredients have been added, and you're done stirring, you need to fill the rest of the bucket with water. Alright, you're almost done. Now that everything's mixed up and stirred up and cooled down, you can put the lid on. The lid has to be on completely for the perfect airtight seal. Once that is on, you need to set up your air release. Some air releases are complicated. Not too expensive, but complicated. This is your basic poor man's air release. You fill a cup full of water, a little over halfway. Once you've done that, you stick the end of the hose into that water. Now what this is going to do is allow air out of the bucket, but not into it. The water will stop air from coming in, but it will easily release and bubble out all the fermenting air that is coming out of the tube sticking out of the lid at the top. Once you've done this for a month, you take what's in the bucket, which is your new brew, and bottle it. You put 1 teaspoon of sugar into the bottle and then fill the bottle with the brew. Cap the bottle and wait 2 to 3 more weeks. Soon you'll be drinking your very own home brew in no time. Kitten.
It's only left for step number 5. That does it for today's How Do I. We hope you walk away a little bit smarter than before. Happy brewing, everybody.